Hello and welcome to EstiQ Media on YouTube. My name is Esther Wachuku. You can actually hear the audio of this on Spotify, on TuneIn, as well as on Amazon. We actually are, and then there are quite a number of content right on there to suit your content crave. Today, what do I want to talk about? There's quite a lot actually happening in the country. Specifically, I'm talking about Nigeria. So, wherever it is you're watching this video from, well, this is our country, and we must always talk about this. You'll be surprised to know that these individuals are actually listening to the cry, the clamor, the groan of Nigerians. Possibly some things are being done. So recently, the president did a national broadcast to address the rising spate of, not necessarily insecurity, rising spate of the multi-dimensional poverty being experienced across the nation. In fact, a few days ago, you'll be so surprised to know that some young boys, right, in Adamawa State, went to the warehouse where they store grains within the state and took out a lot of grains they stole, and then also entered other individuals' private properties or their shops and looted as well. Now, the question is this: what transpired in Niger? Some persons would say that the corruption that is transpiring in Niger is not up to what has transpired in Nigeria. Some persons would say that Niger is not so populated and they haven't gone through what Nigerians have gone through, yet a coup took place. I'm sure you must have seen the video that circulated where they were asking the finance minister to give details of how much money was used and to give account of the monies that were used that they claimed they used for governance. And the man was literally crying. I wonder if that kind of situation takes place in this country, if there will be any accountability. But we've had administration of poor leadership. Nigerians continue to endure, hoping that somehow something good will come up. Somehow the leader that will represent their interests in governance will help them, fight for them, represent them, and adequately fight corruption. But that is not to be seen yet. Well, when the president did the broadcast recently, quite a number of things were mentioned. Things that some persons felt should have been put in place before the immediate removal of subsidy. In fact, some persons feel that what he did was an afterthought. So that means that these were words on marble. Nigerians, after the president broadcast, did not really literally believe about 30% of the things he said. But some Nigerians have said, is it possible for us to be patient and wait to see how things turn out? Possibly, the outcome would benefit a lot of us. How do we see if something would work if we're not patient for it? But some Nigerians are saying, patient for how long? The elite keep on enjoying, they keep on seeing the possibility of an economy that only works for them and impoverishes the people. You do recall that in the president broadcast, he said something about the elite of the elite being the ones to what? Continue to enjoy the national wealth of the country, literally enjoying the wealth that ought to be dispersed to every Nigerian. And he said that needs to be curtailed. But you would wonder, is the president afraid of these supposed individuals, supposed cabals? You recall that during former President Goodluck Abela Jonathan's administration, he made mention of the same thing. So these individuals, how powerful are they that the government cannot do something about them? You know, the presidential candidates of the Labour Party and the PDP said they would do a number of things during the campaign, and which brings to question. Campaign words during campaign are quite easy to say, but occupying that seat at the Asa Rock is a different talisman entirely, a different loop. Why would I say so? It feels like the individual who campaigns becomes different immediately they get into Asa Rock. It's almost like they meet something or a powerful force way bigger than they, and they act not according to what Nigerians expect, but act according to something else that puts a distance between they and the people that they are meant to govern. There's quite a lot of expectations of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and some persons feel that the ministerial nominee list, is a representation of how his cabinet would be, or how his cabinet would be formed, or the kind of individuals that he would, infuse in his cabinet. Individuals that are meant to advise him on the right economic policies to implement. Whether we like it or not, Labour's clamor to go on strike is not the wrong thing to do. There is multi-dimensional poverty in the land. Some persons can barely eat. Companies are not increasing salaries. Alternative source of income seems quite difficult to be attainable, especially those who actually rely on import. And then even those who produce locally, the environment seems not to be encouraging. when it is difficult for you to purchase the necessary items to grow your business. The president said his policies are already yielding results, that his international counterparts are already complementing the floating of the naira and the deregulation of the downstream sector. But is that enough? Well, in his broadcast yesterday, he said about 1 trillion naira has been saved since subsidy was removed. Well, when he gave a breakdown of the areas that will be concentrated on, which of course is food prices, to try as much as possible to stabilize food prices, make fertilizers affordable to farmers so they can farm properly and reduce the cost of buying food, as well as giving them grains, especially grains being stored in most of the national warehouses so that they can go about to farm easily. But people think that will they farm when there is no security? If they farm and there's no adequate security, then basically, what is the essence of all of the funds that you have put down together for them to go about whatever it is that they're expected to do? How would you expect positive return or a positive outcome if there is no security? Also, the NNPC. That's another strong point that I thought the president will actually address. Why is there no audit? Why is there no audit exactly in the NNPC? The NNPC has been set to be audited for years, years unnamed, but we haven't seen any result. We haven't seen any paper. We haven't seen an auditing team that is telling us precisely what's going on within the NNPC. There are a lot of things that begs the question, but some persons would say, give the president time. It's just not up to 3 months, right? So let's be patient and see what will happen. They say Rome wasn't built in a day. Ethiopia wasn't actually built in a day. Ethiopia took decades to build. So let us see how that goes. If utopia is attainable in Nigeria, well, it's something that everybody has to work hard for. Again, my name is Esther Wachuku. What do you think about the current happenings in the country? I would like you to put that in the comment section. Secondly, or rather, a number of other secondlies, because I know I mentioned a few points actually. Okay, so the presidential candidates of the Labour Party, the People's Democratic Party, as well as APC and Inec, well, their representatives will be at the court to tender their final submission on, their written addresses on what they recommend. For the Labour Party and the PDP, they're asking for a redo of the election, saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu wasn't, he is not qualified to have run, considering the dual nomination, of course, and his own dual citizenship as well. So they are saying that there should be a rerun, and the fact that there was quite a number of infractions that occurred. Well, let's see how that goes. The Economic Intelligence Unit has said that Bola Tinubu's victory would not be upturned. He's going to remain as a president. But they actually admitted to the harsh economic realities that his policies will, have an impact on Nigerians. However, they stipulated that in 2024, Nigerians will begin to see the possible or positive effect of these policies. Now, the question is, how true is this particular verdict by the Economic Intelligence Unit? All right, so today will be the final address given to the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal by the political parties who are aggrieved for the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The political parties this time is PDP, Labour Party, as well as the APM. Also, INEC will be there to defend itself, or rather give its own final address as to why they are standing on naming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a rightful winner of the February 25 elections. Also, the APC too will be there as well to defend their candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he indeed duly deserved to be the president of the country, and so his win should continue for the next 4 years. Also, the Presidential Election Tribunal will now tell Nigerians or tell of these particular councils or legal representatives or their various clients when the judgment, the final judgment or the conclusion based on all that have been tendered, right? Based on all of the documents and petitions and hearings and witnesses, all that have been displayed and tendered at the Presidential Election Tribunal, they will now tell Nigerians when indeed the final conclusion will be. And I want you to remember that it doesn't stop at the Election Petition Tribunal. If the tribunal gives its own conclusion or gives its own result, well, any other agreed political party who is not happy with the judgment given actually has an opportunity to go to the apex court. Until then, would we know indeed who won the February 25 elections? For now, let's see how things go. Let's keep a positive mindset. That's the only way we can go about this. And I would like you to tell me what you think. Let me know in the comment section. Take care.